single number that decides your fate. A digital dictator watching your every move. This is the story you've been told about China's social credit system. But look closer, the reality is different. It's more complex, more boring. Honestly, it's not about control, it's about convenience. I'm Stickman Shing. Welcome to Stickman's China Quiz. Today, we're unlocking the full story. We're moving beyond the hype. We're looking at the data, the rules, and daily life. We're answering the 5 questions that everyone asks. Question 1. Where did this system really come from? Question 2. What actual perks can a good score get you? Question 3. Who really gets punished and how? Question 4. How does it control companies, not just people? Question 5. What do Chinese people think about living with it? The answers will change how you see modern China. This is just for learning and fun. No prizes, just knowledge.
Welcome to Stickman's China Quiz. I'm Kaxing, born in China, raised in Hong Kong, and the person behind the channel. By now, you probably already know Stickman Shing, our little visual guide who helps to bring each topic to life. Here's how it works. We research deeply, animate with AI, and end every episode with a quiz that puts you in the driver's seat. If you're tired of shallow headlines and want to truly understand China, you've come to the right place. No politics, no noise, just facts, stories, and curiosity. Join us as we discover the real China together.
Let's start at the real beginning. Not with sci-fi, but with banks. 2 decades ago, getting a loan in China was hard for the average person. Why? The country lacked a comprehensive financial credit system. The People's Bank of China, PBOC, had a credit registry, but it was limited. In 2011, the World Bank estimated only about 35% of Chinese adults had any credit history with a formal bureau. This wasn't just an inconvenience. It held back the economy. People couldn't easily buy homes or start businesses. Simultaneously, the government faced other trust issues: food safety scandals, business fraud, and environmental violations. There was a sense that breaking rules didn't always have clear consequences. The idea emerged: could we build a broader system of trustworthiness? The key document arrived in 2014. The State Council released the planning outline for the construction of a social credit system 2014 to 2022. This is the blueprint. The stated goal was to forge a sincerity-promoting environment. To build trust in 4 areas: government affairs, commercial activities, societal integrity, and judicial credibility. Crucially, the plan did not order a single, unified score for every citizen. That's a myth. Instead, it encouraged different parts of the government and even the private sector to build their own credit systems. Think of it like building multiple tools for different jobs. The financial system got stronger, the PBOC's credit center expanded. Private companies like Ant Group launched Sesame Credit, a tool for online transactions. Courts improved their system for tracking people who ignored legal judgments. Cities started pilot programs to encourage civic behavior. These systems often don't talk to each other directly. Your Sesame Credit score doesn't determine if you can ride a high-speed train. A city's civilized citizen points don't affect your mortgage rate. The origin story is a messy, bureaucratic response to real problems. Not enough credit data and not enough trust in the market. It's a patchwork, not a panopticon. Are these the kind of rewards you imagined? What perk would you want from a system like this? Type your answer in the comments below. If you're finding this deep dive valuable, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us make more. Now, let's explore the carrot. What do you get for being trustworthy? The rewards are real, varied, and often feel like a loyalty program. They're most visible in local city initiatives. Take Hangzhou, a tech hub, as an example. Its Moshi Credit, literally mushroom credit, is a voluntary citizen score. By 2023, local reports stated over 5 million residents had activated it. How do you earn the credit? I mean the points. It's easy. Pay bills on time, use public transport, and volunteer to donate blood. Then you spend these points. You can borrow books from the library without a deposit, rent a portable battery pack on the street, even get a discount at city parks. The higher points you get, the better perks you have. In Suzhou, a Suzhou personal credit score called Suzhou Li offers similar benefits. A high score can get you free admission to tourist sites, faster processing at government service halls, and even favorable interest rates on certain personal loans from partner banks. Fuzhou City links its score to healthcare. Citizens with high ratings can access green channels at public hospitals, meaning shorter waiting times. On the financial side, a high score from the EP006 system or from Ant's Sesame Credit has direct monetary value. Landlords, especially in big cities like Shanghai and Beijing, increasingly use these scores to screen tenants. A high score can mean you don't have to pay a security deposit, which can be worth 1 or 2 months' rent. That's a huge financial relief. For travel, some countries like Canada and Singapore have pilot programs where Chinese visa applicants with high Sesame credit scores can provide simplified financial documentation. The logic is simple. Good financial behavior suggests a stable, low-risk traveler. The reward system is fragmented and localized. It's a mix of government-led civic encouragement and private sector convenience tools. The goal is to encourage behaviors that the system designers consider positive, such as repaying debts, fostering good neighborly relations, and actively participating in community life. Yes, it's social engineering, but in a familiar, gamified way. Are these the kind of rewards you imagined? What perk would you want from a system like this? Type your answer in the comments below. If you're finding this deep dive valuable, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us make more.
Awesome.
Now, let's discuss the stick where fear intersects with reality. Yes, there are restrictions, but they are specific, legally mandated, and tied to serious violations, not social opinions. The core mechanism is the list of dishonest persons subject to enforcement. Shisin Beijing Sing Renming Dan. This is a judicial tool. Who gets on this list? It's for people or companies that have lost a civil court case and then refuse to comply with the judgment. Common examples include individuals and companies. Individuals who fail to pay court-ordered debts, alimony, or compensation for an accident. Companies that ignore environmental fines. According to China's Supreme People's Court, by the end of 2022, courts had placed over 20 million individuals and entities on this list since its inception. Being on this list triggers automatic nationwide restrictions. These are not secret. They are publicly searchable. The restrictions are designed to make life uncomfortable until you pay your debt. You can be banned from buying first-class train tickets or plane tickets. You can be blocked from luxury vacations, staying in high-star hotels, or sending your kids to expensive private schools. Your face and debt information might even be displayed on public screens in your hometown. It's important to understand that you cannot be placed on this list for jaywalking, making excessive online shopping returns, or expressing a political opinion. The process is judicial. A court must issue a ruling against you. You must then defy that ruling, and only then can the court add you to the list. There is also a formal procedure for removal. Once you've fulfilled your legal obligations, you can apply to be removed from the list. Beyond this central judicial list, other government agencies have their own blacklists for specific violations. The Tax Bureau has one for severe tax evaders. The market regulator has one for companies with serious safety breaches. The effects are similar: restricted access to certain services, public naming, and difficulty in obtaining licenses or government contracts. The system is a web of consequences for specific, defined legal breaches. It's a giant, public-facing debt collection and regulatory enforcement mechanism, not a tool for policing thought. Let's shift from people to companies. If the personal system is fragmented, the corporate social credit system is vast, integrated, and arguably the most impactful part. Every registered business in China is being scored constantly. Multiple government agencies feed data into this system. The Tax Bureau reports on payment history. Environmental bureaus report on compliance. Market regulators report on product quality and safety. Customs reports on import-export violations. All this data is compiled into a corporate social credit file. The consequences are immediate and public. Companies with poor records are placed on blacklists. These lists are published on a national platform called Credit China. As of 2023, the site listed millions of entries for seriously dishonest entities. Once blacklisted, a company faces real problems. It will find it harder to get bank loans. It will be excluded from government procurement tenders. Its insurance premiums may go up. Its executives might face travel restrictions. It's a powerful deterrent. On the flip side, companies with excellent records can make the red list. They get benefits like fewer random government inspections, faster approval for permits, and even tax incentives. They also get to use their good credit rating in marketing. Consumers are increasingly aware of these lists. Apps like Chichacha allow anyone to look up a company's credit rating, lawsuits, and violations before doing business with them. This corporate system directly impacts consumers. When you buy a product in China, the company's credit score is increasingly part of its brand. It's a market-based solution to regulation, instead of relying solely on understaffed inspection teams. The system uses transparency and market pressure to encourage compliance. It turns credit into a competitive asset. This is perhaps the most successful part of the entire social credit vision. Creating a public framework where business behavior has transparent financial consequences. This is complex stuff. If your view of China just changed a bit, let me know by hitting the like button. It tells YouTube this topic matters, and subscribe so you don't miss our quiz. So, what's it actually like to live with this? The experience varies wildly depending on who you are and where you live. For a young urban professional in Hangzhou or Shanghai, the system might be visible through convenient app features. They might use their Sesame credit to rent a power bank or skip a rental deposit. They might see it as a useful tech tool, like a supercharged loyalty program. A 2021 study published in the China Quarterly found that urban residents with higher socioeconomic status generally viewed the system more positively. They associated it with societal benefits, such as holding dishonest businesses accountable. For someone in a smaller city or rural area, the personal social credit system might be almost invisible. Their main interaction might be with the financial credit system when applying for a small business loan or a mortgage. The dystopian, all-seeing score simply isn't part of their reality. The domestic media portrays the system in a specific way. News reports focus on two things: praising trustworthy heroes, like people who return lost wallets, and shaming dishonest violators, like the court debt evaders on the blacklist. The narrative is about building a trustworthy society, not about monitoring individuals. Then there's the giant gap with international reporting. Western headlines often portray a monolithic, AI-driven system that penalizes everything from bad driving to buying too many video games. This narrative thrives because it fits a familiar dystopian template. It's simpler and more dramatic than the messy, bureaucratic reality of multiple databases, local pilots, and judicial blacklists. The truth is in the middle, and it's less exciting. For most Chinese citizens, the social credit system is an abstract concept that sometimes offers small perks and sometimes publicly shames lawbreakers. It's part financial tool, part civic gamification project, and part judicial enforcement mechanism. It is changing behavior, but primarily around financial responsibility and specific legal compliance, not around political thought or social expression. The reality is a patchwork of systems seeking to solve practical problems of trust in a rapidly modernizing society. The myth is a sleek, terrifying story of digital control. One is real, the other is a compelling, but often misleading, fiction. We've covered a lot. What part surprised you the most? The rewards, the corporate side, or the gap in perception? Tell me in the comments, and get ready to test your knowledge in the quiz. Alright, quiz time! Let's see if you were paying attention. Remember, these are based on everything we just covered. Question 1. What was a major problem in China that helped lead to the social credit system idea? A. Too much government surveillance. B. A lack of comprehensive financial credit history for citizens. Not enough cameras in public places. D. Low internet speeds. The answer is B. In the early 2010s, most adults lacked a formal credit report, making loans and economic growth harder. Question 2. In city programs like Hangzhou's Moshi Credit, what is a common way to earn points? Option A. By criticizing the government online. Option B. By buying expensive products. Option C. By using public transportation or volunteering. Option D. By watching state television. The answer is C. These local scores often reward civic-minded behavior like taking the bus, paying utilities on time, or donating blood. Question 3. Who is most likely to be placed on the National Dishonest Persons Blacklist and banned from luxury trains? Option A, someone who jaywalks. Option B, someone who refuses to pay a court-ordered debt after losing a lawsuit. Option C, someone who writes a negative social media post. Option D, someone with a low score on a city app. The answer is B. The travel bans are a judicial punishment specifically for people who ignore court judgments, especially on debts. Question 4. How does the corporate social credit system primarily affect businesses? Option A. It controls what products they can design. Option B. It decides their political affiliations. Option C, it publicly rates them on compliance, tax, environment, quality, affecting their loans and reputation. Option D, it forces them to hire a certain number of employees. The answer is C. Companies are rated by multiple agencies, and a poor public credit score can mean lost contracts, higher costs, and difficulty getting loans. Question 5. According to surveys and reports, how do many urban Chinese citizens seem to view these systems? Option A, as a terrifying surveillance tool. Option B, as mostly invisible or as a useful tool for societal trust. Option C, as their favorite video game. Option D, as the main topic of daily conversation. The answer is B. For many, especially in cities, it's either not noticeable or seen as a practical way to encourage responsibility and punish dishonest companies. How many did you get right? Share your score in the comments. So, here's the final truth. China's social credit system isn't a sci-fi score. It's a collection of tools. Tools for banks to lend. Tools for courts to enforce rulings, tools for cities to encourage good citizenship, and tools to make companies follow the rules. It's about trust in a digital age. Sometimes it's helpful, like skipping a rental deposit. Sometimes it's harsh, like public shaming for debt. It's complicated, local, and very real. It's not the story you often hear, but it's the one that's actually happening. What should we decode next on Stickman's China quiz? The real story behind China's electric vehicle boom? Or how online shopping live streams took over? You tell me in the comments. If this video helped you understand a complex topic, please give it a thumbs up. That signal helps others find it too. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. We're here to unlock China, past, present, and future. One fact at a time. I'm Stickman Xing. Thanks for watching and see you in the next quiz.